Alright, what is going on, my dudes? We are now just a few days away from the July 4th weekend, which means that many people, thousands of people, more than likely will be getting one, possibly two more rank 4 champions. I do anticipate that with this upcoming sale, rank 4 floodgates are going to be open just a little bit more, and we're going to be seeing a lot more rank 4s across the battle realm. So with that being said, I went back to my best champions to rank 4 list here, and I made some additions, and I actually took some champs away, moved some champs up, moved some champs down. Let's go over very quickly what these three categories are. Top options, very self-explanatory, right? Obviously in Cosmic you're going to see Hercules up there. That's what that means. Great options. These are champions who are very, very, very solid rank 4 options that I wouldn't even bat an eye if you asked me, should I take this champion to rank 4? Hell yeah, you like him, rank him up. Finally, Debatable. There is nothing wrong about any of the champs in Debatable. None of the champs in Debatable are being dissed because they aren't in top option, because they aren't in great option. If they made it onto the list, that means that, hey, they're a very solid option for rank 4. I think it's very, very debatable to take them up. I think that they have a very strong argument to do so. However, if you have a champion for the top option, it's just quite clear that they're a little bit more widely useful. And when looking for rank 4s at the moment, still, which are kind of rare in the game still, for many players don't even have one yet, right? You really want one of your first rank 4s to be very generally useful, as opposed to like being geared towards one specific thing. For example, looking at Hercules and Human Torch, Hercules is good literally every single place in the entire game. Torch, one of the best at fighting mystics, one of the best at fighting energy damage, but you're not really going to want to use him anywhere else. Do you see the difference? How one, you're going to use that rank 4 everywhere, as opposed to the utility champ, right, who's more geared towards one peg, right? And people make the argument, oh, but isn't it better to make that utility champ have more attack so you could use them everywhere? No, it's not. You take the champion who excels everywhere and you make them even better. It just makes more sense. But it's your account, it's your resources, you gotta do what you want to do. That being said, let's jump into who I personally believe are the top options, the great options, and the debatable options for all 6 classes in MCOC in June of 2022 or July of 2022. I'll probably put July 2022 in the title because, hey, July 4th, let's jump into it, man. For skill, there are 3 above and beyond options that are just so obvious at this point. Nick Fury, Mole Man, and Kingpin are so good. All 3 of them are going to get in so much from that additional rank for different reasons for all of them. They're absolutely massive skill champions who are so good and so useful in this game. Moving on to great options here. This time around, I moved Crossbones up to great options because his value only goes up as time goes on, in my opinion. I think Crossbones is still one of the most underrated champions in the entire game. Shang-Chi, really amazing, widely useful everywhere. There's a lot of very, very good rank 4 Shang-Chi gameplay on YouTube at the moment. And Ragnagod, of course, Thor Ragnarok, really amazing after the buff. I feel like he could go more so in Debatable because I feel like everything that he does, stun locking after Special 3, could be done at rank 3. However, he does have the prestige going for him, which could make him a really solid option. When it comes to Debatable down here, I added a bunch of options in here for skill. I added Hitmonkey, Black Widow, Deadly Origin, Blade, and also Black Cat. Black Cat, still a little bit too new for me to want to put her in great options, but I definitely feel like she could be a very solid rank 4 option. Hitmonkey, his crit damage is definitely going to get a big boost going up the additional rank. He's very similar to Corvus, where you get more out of him the higher rank you are. So Hitmonkey is definitely a good debatable option for a rank 4 if you're a fan of the character. Black Widow Deadly Origin does not really have much utility at all. However, she is a pretty strict damage per second champion, so her damage per second is definitely going to increase by quite a bit if you rank her up because of all of the shocks you're going to be placing on the opponent, the multiple shocks that will each have their value increase with the additional rank. Blade, really solid champ, obviously, still good in 2022, but he is a little bit outdated to the point where I don't know if I'd want to say make him one of your first rank 4s, right? And of course, down here, you're going to see this in every single class, your favorite champ. It's great for you to watch videos and make educated opinions about who you should rank up, but at the same time, if your favorite champion, if your favorite skill champion is, for example, Masacre, and you want to rank for Masacre, you should do it. because you're grinding for these resources, or you're buying these resources, and you want to play the game and you want to have fun at the best of your ability, you should rank for your Masacre if that's what you want to do. Okay, I'm going to be giving you my opinions on who I think is worth taking to rank 4, who I would personally take to rank 4 right now. I wouldn't do that with MCOC, but if you're the biggest MCOC fan in the world, rank him up. Why haven't you done it yet? Okay, let's move on over here to science. There are only 2 champions that I would say are definite easy peasy lemon squeezy rank 4s for me right now, and that's going to be Spidey and Immortal Abomination. Spidey has gone above and beyond, proving his worth over the past few months as a absolutely solid rank 4 option. Personally, in my opinion, the #1 rank 4 science option by a lot. Immortal Abomination, not too far behind, especially with the current Defiance attack tactic. His value is increased for the time being because he is so useful in war, but that tactic has 1 more season left in the top bracket. I do believe it's going to move down to the lower brackets up next, though. So if you do play in, like, I think it's tier 3 to 5, I believe #Defiance is coming to you guys next. I'm not entirely sure of the rotation there, but even without it, he's a really, really solid, underrated champion, amazing at rank 4, and he definitely gets a nice benefit from the increased rank with the combat power rate and also the increased potency of his poisons. Coming on to great options down here, we have Mr. Negative, Mr. Fantastic, who I did bump up, Overseer, and Cap Infinity War. If you have a Sig 200 Cap Infinity War, he does really require that investment to really be worth it, but the dude is absolutely solid. He's always going to be solid. He's aged like fine wine through this game, and he's always going to have a place in the game. Overseer, really solid champion. A lot of people have him at rank 4 now, and he definitely puts in a lot of work. Mr. Fantastic is an incredible science champion. He pretty much takes like the best aspects of all of the top science champions and mixes them into one kit, and he kind of has that like jack of all trades, master of none thing, except he's like really good at all the things, even though he's not a master of any of them. He has jack of all trades, really good at them all, if that makes any amount of sense, right? And then Mr. Negative is really, really, really good. Incredible champion, very underrated in my opinion. Nullify immune, he heals from degen when he's awakened, just a really solid, smooth playstyle as well. Really love that guy. I'm feeling like Mr. Negative might be my next rank 4, even though I do have Immortal Abomination. So there, like, that's just another example where, like, I feel like Immortal Abomination has more value, but personally, I'm probably going to rank Mr. Negative first, because that's what I want to do with my account, right? Up next, coming into Debatable, we have, of course, Human Torch. Guys, don't even waste your time trying to write in the comments about how Human Torch is the best science champion. Human Torch is top 2 science champs with Spidey 2099, depending on the situation, depending on the fight, depending on the node, interchangeable in my opinion. But like I said, Spidey could pretty much be used almost anywhere. Torch, you're not going to want to use him against a champion who isn't a Mystic, who doesn't have energy damage. It's just, there's better options out there, right? So for me, when you're fighting a Mystic champion with Human Torch, they're dead in 30 seconds. At rank 4, they'll be dead in like 26 seconds. So is that worth the extra rank right now? In my opinion, no. Once you have more than 10 rank 4s, yeah, I think so, absolutely. At that point in the game's moving on, you're seeing mostly rank 4 defenders at this point. Rank up Human Torch when you're getting more resources. That is personally my opinion there. Up next is Scorpion. I initially had Scorpion in great options, but he is still new. I have seen a bunch of Scorpion rank 4 gameplay, and he definitely does slap pretty hard. However, he is new. We need more time. We have to see how he develops into the rest of the game, but I do think that Scorpion is going to be a really solid player in the science class as time goes on, maybe possibly even finding himself towards the top of the list of great options. Up next is Thing. Thing is absolutely amazing. I initially had him in great options, but then I took him down to Debatable just because I feel like everything he does at rank 4, he could do at rank 3. You really love him for that Sig ability, right? He's really cheesy, he's really fun, and he has a lot of nice utility as well that counters Mystic champions very nicely, but not as well as like Mr. Negative and Overseer, who kind of do the same things, but a little bit better at this point, being Nullify immune and whatnot. That was really amazing back in the day, but now there are a bunch of science champions who are in fact Nullify immune. Up next is Piggy. Piggy is really, really great, man. I feel like Piggy and Scorpion feel a similar niche with the power stings. I do think Scorpion does it a little bit better, has a little bit more utility overall, but what's so great about these champions is that nobody is really immune to power stings, and Scorpion has 3 different debuffs that he can choose as power stings, right? But for Piggy in general, nobody is really immune to his damage except for Tenacity, skill champs, but you're not going to want to fight class disadvantage anyway. But yeah, Piggy's really great. I feel like for how often you're going to use Spider Pig, rank 3 is good enough, but he's super fun, super amazing. And then Void, personally, man, I do think that Void is incredibly outdated when you look at the rest of the science class, man. Everything he does, I do feel like other champions do better nowadays. When it comes to reversing power, Spidey does it 10 billion times better from the instant the fight starts. When it comes to reversing healing, I would personally go with Mr. Fantastic. But Void is still very, very good, and if you have him at Sig 200 at rank 4, his debuffs are absolutely going to be doing a lot of damage. Simula posted a video of him soloing 23 out of 24 Act 6 bosses, so Void at rank 4 absolutely is very effective, but personally, he just would not be my choice. But again, like I said, there's absolutely no diss for any of the champions in Debatable, and if they're on the Debatable list, that's very, very good. That means it's a very solid option for rank 4, but like I said, for what I would use Void for, I would personally rather use Spidey, for reversing power, or even Torch for reversing healing, or Mr. Fantastic for reversing healing. But that's just how I personally feel about it. Up next in Mystic, guess who's at the top? Of course, Dr. Doom. I also put Diablo and Tiger. If you run the Suicide Masteries, Diablo to rank 4 is solid. If you know how to play Tiger really well, Tiger to rank 4 is solid. Dr. Doom, self-freaking-explanatory. Let's move on to great options over here in the Mystic class. Black Widow Clairvoyant, Sorcerer Supreme. I popped Mojo up from Debatable, and I also added the Hood. The Hood, I've seen a lot of value in the Hood over the past few months. He's really, really amazing. I actually use him in Hood. I used him in War a couple times. He was my absolute #1 MVP for Battlegrounds. So if you care about Battlegrounds, the Hood is an amazing champion for it. Personally, my favorite Mystic champion for Battlegrounds. And he might be my favorite Mystic champ in the game to play with at the moment. I would like to rank 4 the Hood eventually. He's one of my favorite Mystic rank 3s. I think he's very solid, very underrated. Mojo, same deal, man. Very solid, very underrated. The damage is really good when you get up a high Sig. At rank 4, he is going to absolutely pop off. All right. Up next, we have for Debatable. I put Rintra and Wong in Debatable. Now, you guys know how big of a fan I am of Rintra. If I pull Rintra, I probably will rank for him. However, I cannot, in good conscience, put him up in great or top options yet because he is new to the game. Same thing with Wong. However, I do think both of these champions are incredibly effective, and I think they will absolutely have their place in the game for quite some time, both on offense and on defense across a multitude of different game modes: Battlegrounds, War, Defense, and Offense, AQ, solo questing. I definitely see both of them being absolutely incredible, solid additions to the Mystic class, which sorely was lacking over the past few years. New great Mystic options, right? Last year we got Mangog, American Chavez, not the best, right? But we also had Sigil Witch last year, which, Scarlet Witch, a lot of people really like her. She's not my favorite champion, but there's no doubt about it. She definitely puts in a lot of work at rank 4. I personally feel a little bit weird about, the pay to get champions, like the Sigil champions. I wouldn't want to make her like one of my first rank 4s. It's weird for me with her. I have weird feelings with her. Mine is still rank 1, but yeah, she's definitely a very, very solid rank 4. For Cosmic, obviously, Hercules. Also, Null, if you run Suicides especially, nuts. Absolutely freaking nuts. Null at Sig 200, mind-blowing. So good. So good. If you are not on the Null hype train, go check out my rank 4 Null video. He's nuts. He's so good. Keeping it rolling. For great options, I added Cersei here. I do think Cersei is one of, if not the most underrated champion in the entire game at the moment. She is so good, so smooth, so efficient. Her damage output is enormous, and she has some very interesting underrated offensive/defensive utility as well. Corvus, of course. Corvus is always going to be very at the top of the game if you play AQ and AW. Arguably one of the top Alliance 4 attackers at the moment, even still. Silver Surfer, the only reason why he's here, man, is because he got prestige. Honestly, I really do not recommend you rank 4 Silver Surfer. I really don't. But if you are in a top 5 AQ Alliance, he's a great option, and it's kind of how it is. Cosmic Ghost Rider, man, I initially didn't love him for great options, but as time goes on, I find the additional combat power rate from the additional rank to be very, very good for Cosmic Ghost Rider, so I definitely do think he's a solid option for rank 4. For Debatable, I put Hulkling down here. Hulkling is very new. I'd imagine that most people watching this video do not have him as a 6-star yet, but I do think Hulkling's going to be a very solid rank 4, to be entirely honest. But as time goes on, we'll see how he impacts the game, more so than just on paper. On paper, the dude's solid. very solid, and in practice he's solid too, but I only had so much time, testing him so far. Hyperion and King Groot as well. I also took a couple champions off Debatable here, but for Hyperion, personally, man, I know a lot of people are huge, enormous fans of Hyperion. A couple people have rank 4 Hyperion. Personally, I would not want to do that. I wouldn't recommend to people to do that either. I feel like rank 3 is super solid enough for Hyperion. He's not really going to have the massive benefit from the increased combat power rate because he has the power gain. He does have a lot of Furies, which will definitely get a nice potency increase with the additional rank, but personally, I would just much rather rank 4 Hercules, Null, Cosmic Ghost Rider, even Cersei over Hyperion. I would want to do Hyperion over Silver Surfer, but yeah. King Groot as well. I feel like King Groot's biggest draw is that he's immortal. He's immortal at rank 3 as well, and he's not going to get that much of an attack increase from rank 3 to rank 4. Plus, his attack is honestly fine at rank 3. I would not recommend rank 4 King Groot. I think it's a bit overkill. In the future, sure, but I think rank 3 King Groot is very, very solid. Now, for tech, we had a very big promotion here. A very big promotion. The only champion that I moved up to top option, I believe, is Nimrod. And Nimrod, man, has really, really proved his worth over the past few months. Not only against mutant champions, but if you look at the past few mutants who were released, they're like pretty freaking annoying, man, to be entirely honest. Sauron and Toad are like really annoying to fight. Apocalypse is always annoying to fight, right? Nimrod just completely turns everything off. Weapon X as well, man. Some of the most annoying defenders actually are mutants. And Kitty Pryde as well. I can only imagine there's going to be more in the future. And Nimrod just really, 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 really wrecks them, man. A lot of champions have been released since with prowess removal and cowardice and all this stuff, but none of them even touch Nimrod, man. It's kind of like with Spidey 2099. He was released and his combat power rate ability counter is so incredibly strong that it's going to be really hard to make a champion who does that better than him. With Nimrod, same deal. It's going to be really hard to make a prowess removal champion who does it better than Nimrod. So, power creep is definitely a thing in games like this, man, but something that, the developers really need to be aware of, man, because if you just keep making them better and better and better, but you start out with, like, the best there is at doing what he does, I don't know. Now, what's so great about Nimrod is that, yes, he is the mutant killer, he is the tech human torch, but on top of that, he is really solid all around too. And I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough, that he's not only good for mutants, he's a little bit faster against mutants, but he is incredibly safe against all defenders, essentially, man. He is incredibly tanky, and his damage is very, very good, especially if he's duped in that SIG 200. So he's definitely worth a rank 4, I think, personally. And Ghost, we didn't even talk about, self-explanatory. Up next, Omega Sentinel. Yes, she's new, but I think that she definitely is a great option. I originally had her in top option, but she is just a little too new for me to put her up there. Penny Parker, Warlock Guardian, and also Ultron I moved up to great option because I came to think that Ultron, the additional combat power rate, will actually be very good for him. You're going to be able to chain more special 2s, get some more cauterized damage off. Guardian, I don't know if I personally do Guardian, but he definitely is a great option. If you have him at SIG 200 especially, he has a lot of utility, very good champion. Warlock, of course, self-explanatory. Penny Parker as well, really good all over the place, very underrated on offense, not just for defense. But Omega Sentinel, top 5 prestige at the moment, really, really solid champion, has a lot of utility, has some very decent damage. Most people don't have her yet, but if you do end up getting her, she's a very solid rank 4 option. For Debatable, I put in Nebula, Silver Centurion, and Sam Wilson. I feel like Sam Wilson, for what he does, he's going to do it very, very effectively. However, I do think rank 3 is fine enough. Silver Centurion, I do feel the same way, that I feel like, rank 3 is fine enough for when you want to use him. And Nebula, that special 2 nuke man is going to happen whether she's rank 3 or rank 4. But she is super duper solid. I definitely do think she does deserve an argument for rank 4. So that's the tech class. Tech class is weird, man. I really wouldn't want to rank 4 anybody in the tech class besides Ghost. She's like the one I'd want to rank 4. Nimrod definitely has a strong case for me, but the rest of these champions, I feel like I'm fine with them at rank 3. It's just the tech class has always been very weird for me. Up next in Mutant. The Mutant is also a bit of an interesting class. So for top options, I put Apocalypse, Kitty Pryde, and also Omega Red. If you're a Suicide user and you have a SIG 200 Omega Red, you understand why he's here. If you don't run Suicides, if you don't like using the Sabretooth synergy, you're going to not look at Omega Red. That's totally fine. But if you are a Suicide user, you probably are a fan of Omega Red, and holy crap, he is nuts at rank 4. Kitty Pryde, pretty broken, pretty self-explanatory. Apocalypse, it's kind of hard to argue against Apocalypse being probably the overall most valuable mutant in the game for what he can do at 4 genetic code, what he does with Cable on the team for Cable, and what he can do for almost every mutant as a horseman, right? So Apocalypse, super duper valuable, especially at rank 4. It's really self-explanatory at this point. When it comes to great options, I didn't put too many, man. I have Strife and Professor X. I feel like Professor X really is fine enough at rank 3, and same for Strife. There are so many mutant champions who are absolutely nuts, absolutely amazing, but I just feel like most of them are good enough at rank 3, especially Archangel right now, especially because he's kind of like the Human Torch kind of thing where they're dead in 30 seconds. If he's at rank 4, they're going to be dead in 26 seconds. Do I want to use rank 4 Catalyst for a 4-second difference? Personally, I don't. You might want to, but I'm going to pass on that myself. This should be underlined. Let me fix that really quickly. Where's the U? Where's the U? Where's the underline? Fine, I'll do Control U. Got it. All right, so Colossus, I'm just not a fan of Colossus. Took him to rank 3, hardly ever use him. Toad, a little bit too new, but I do think Toad is a pretty solid rank 4 option, to be entirely honest. But it's so funny, man. Mutant is the class that's widely, accepted as the best class in the game, and I do agree with that. But when it comes to rank 4s, I really wouldn't want to rank 4 anybody except for these 3 champions, which is really interesting, right? It was I almost wanted to put Strife and Professor X in Debatable, but then I would have nobody in great options, which is a little weird. I actually took Namor out of Debatable. I also took Magneto out of Debatable because I think that Magneto fits that Human Torch extreme, except times 2, because against metal champions you typically get to a special 3 and you crumple them, and he can even do that at rank 2. So I feel like taking Magneto to rank 4 is honestly a very bad move. I don't think that it's worth the resources at all. So same thing for Namor. What he can do at rank 4, he can do at rank 3, man. You're going to be using this guy for a SIG ability. I think Namor is incredibly underrated. I think he's amazing for stuff like Eternity of Pain, going in, taking out one big boss with his damage rotation, whether he's duped or unduped, to be entirely honest, but I don't think he needs to be rank 4 for that. And as newer champions are added to the prestige pool, his really amazing prestige, top 5 prestige, it's becoming less valuable because he's not in that top 5 anymore. So, we saw Hercules bump him down, now we saw Mega Sentinel bump him out of the top 5, I believe. So yeah, man, I feel like Namor's value for rank 4 is certainly going down. Rank 3, SIG 200, absolutely. But again, if he is your favorite champ, rank him up. I don't think he is, though. So, people like to take a screenshot. People like to take a screenshot. This is personally my view on the top rank 4 options in MCOC in July of 2022. Top options, great options, debatable options. All 3 of these categories, I feel like all of these champions would make a very solid rank 4. Obviously, I believe the top options to be the top options. I think that's kind of self-explanatory, right? And I feel like I've given my reason on most of these champions here. We skipped the obvious ones like Hercules and Dr. Doom and Ghost Ray. I mean, it's just obvious. But I felt like I wanted to give at least a good explanation for champions like Human Torch, who are easily top 2 science champion. Archangel, top 5 mutant champion, but they're indebatable. So I just want to make sure I make that reasoning clear. This is not a tier list whatsoever. This is not a tier list. This is who I think is worth using resources on in 2022. But the most important champion on this list is your fave champ. That's why it's underlined. If your favorite champion is Masakre, take him to rank 4, please, and do not let some guy on the internet who doesn't know if it's winter or summer tell you who to rank. So that's going to be it for this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop your boy a big ol' like. Let me know who you are planning to take to rank 4 in the future in the comment section below. I'm very interested to hear if you have any spice picks like Masakre. Let me know in the comment section below, and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the July 4th crystal opening coming to you probably in a few days. It's early June right now. So No, it's not. It's like near end of June. It's like June 21st when I'm recording this. But yeah, I'm gonna upload it near July 4th. Seeing you around.